Picture nearly 1 billion people participating in a single process. Navigating India's elections makes it the largest democratic exercise on Earth. On paper, the structure is incredibly robust. Regular elections, an intensely active judiciary, and a highly detailed constitution guarantee freedom of speech and political participation. But step outside the polling booth, and the reality is harsh. Citizens spend hours navigating broken roads, sending kids to under-resourced schools, and waiting in overcrowded hospitals. People frequently complain about dynastic politicians, deep religious divisions, and overt corruption. These aren't random bugs in the system. They are connected symptoms of a highly effective political machine. It's a cycle we can call the feedback loop, and the only way to dismantle it is to map exactly how it works. This chart maps the first phase of the loop, the input. Running a campaign requires an exorbitant amount of money. This massive financial barrier restricts entry, effectively locking out ordinary, honest citizens. That vacuum is quickly filled by two groups: families who treat political seats like inherited businesses, and individuals with serious criminal records who use intimidation to control their districts. Because these candidates often lack a record of actual public service, they push into phase 2, the campaign. They cannot win on their merits, so they have to manufacture their votes. To distract from real issues, they rally their base using religion and caste. Pitting communities against each other creates deep divides, but it builds a fiercely loyal, unquestioning vote bank. They reinforce these divides through biased television channels and coordinated social media rumors. Right before the election, they flood their districts with free gifts and massive, undeliverable promises. The campaign phase operates entirely as a smokescreen. It secures their power while demanding zero accountability for how they will actually govern. This brings us to the final phase on our map, the output. Once elected, these politicians prioritize recovering the millions they spent. This leads directly to rigged government contracts, bribes, and resources draining away from public services. With the state starved of funding, the structural problems that citizens deal with every day are completely ignored. The result is a massive, highly educated youth demographic looking for work, but finding an economy that cannot produce enough jobs to sustain them. Even when this corruption is exposed, the powerful rarely face consequences. A severely backlogged justice system allows political cases to drag on for decades. And here is where the loop completes itself. The wealth extracted during their time in office flows directly back into their campaign funds, perfectly financing their entry into the next election. But as this diagram zooms out, we see the engine running the whole machine. The central hub driving this cycle is voter emotion and unawareness. The loop continues to spin because citizens cast their ballots based on identity, religious triggers, and last-minute freebies, rather than checking a candidate's background. But a counterforce is emerging. Millions of digitally connected young people are organizing, protesting, and marching for accountability. When voters reject emotional manipulation and force candidates to answer for material realities, like jobs, education, and health, they starve the loop of its required fuel. The architecture of the world's largest democracy is sound. It simply requires voters to upgrade their awareness, short-circuit the machine, and force the system to answer to the public.